Now the first thing you'll notice about the Pixel 3 is this iconic two-tone design with smooth glass backs that... Hey there, my name's Gary Sims and this is the Pixel 3 XL, and today I want to tell you what I think about it. So the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL were recently released by Google. I've been testing this one now for about a week or so, and there are lots and lots of things to like about this phone, and there are some things that really are not very good at all. So let's start with the good things, and we have to start with the screen. It's an absolute pleasure to use this device. It's got a really nice POLED display on it. That means you get those deep blacks, you get good contrast, and all the time I've been using the device, it's really been a pleasure visually to look down at the device and see everything that's being displayed on there. And likewise, the performance is of course flagship level performance. We've got the Snapdragon 845 processor, and you're not going to have any problems doing just about any activity that you want to do with this phone. You couple that, of course, with Android 9 Pie and any tweaks and integrations that also Google has put in there, and then you've got a really good overall software and hardware experience. The device also comes with fast charging and wireless charging, and there is a fast charger included in the box, unlike some OEMs who will charge you over $1,000 and won't even include a fast charger. I'm talking to you, Apple. And then on top of that, of course, we've got things like the dual front-facing speakers, and of course the camera experience is absolutely amazing on this device, and we'll dive more into the camera in a little bit. And last but not least, the charging is done via USB Type-C, which means it's a standard charging connector and will work on a whole variety of different chargers, including those that support power delivery. And in fact, I actually charged this a couple of times using the charger that I have for a Chromebook of mine, and I just plugged it in and it did fast charging straight away without any problem. Now, there are some things about this device that some people care about and they make an issue about it, and these are things that personally I just don't care at all, but I will list them because some people find them important. And first of all, of course, is the notch on the Pixel 3 XL. Personally, I don't care. I didn't mention the notch when I did my iPhone XS review recently. I don't care about the notch. You can switch it off if you want to in the developer options. If it annoys you, well, then get a different phone. Me, I don't mind either way. There's also been quite a lot of said that it's a YouTube signature device. I still don't really know what that means, so I don't basically care because it doesn't seem to affect anything that I can see in my day-to-day usage. I'm sure someone will point out that it means that there's something that's amazing. Okay, fair enough, but it doesn't mean anything to me. On top of that, there's the digital well-being settings that you now get as part of Android Pie, and it's also there in the Pixel 3 to allow you kind of to wind down and not use your device so much. Basically, I say if you can't stop using device when you need to, there's something wrong with you and you don't need a phone to tell you to stop using it. It's not your mother. And then the other big thing that some people are talking about is the fact it has 4 GB of RAM. Actually, 4 GB is certainly more than enough, and you won't have any problems in using the device with 4 GB. Google know what they're doing, Google know what's out there, and 4 GB in their consideration is ample. Sometimes you do wonder whether these extra gigabytes of RAM are just really for spec sheet boosting to make something look more interesting and more powerful than, well, what you really need. And so those are the things that I don't really care about. Some people care about them, but there are some things that I do care about that really are negative points for this phone. The first is, as normal with Google, there is no SD card support, no way of expanding the internal storage. I actually love my Note 8 because I can actually put an extra SD card inside of it. I've also got other phones here in the house that we all put extra SD cards. It's a cheap and easy way to expand the storage in your phone, and by not including it, it limits your options. Talking of limiting options, another thing that Google have done, it's not the first time they've done it, but they've done it again here, is there is no 3.5mm headphone jack. Personally, I think that's quite crazy, and in fact there's been a really good article recently published on Android Authority which just shows you that even with the best Bluetooth codecs that exist today, you still cannot match the same audio qualities you get over a wired pair of headphones, and I'll leave a link to that article in the description here below. And also for myself, I just can't cope with the idea of having to charge up my headphones. I have a household here of 5 people, and at night time I'm plugging in, 5 phones, and then I've got speakers speakers to plug in and tablets to plug in and laptops that needs charging. And another thing I don't need to charge is a pair of Bluetooth headphones. If I want headphones, I want them wired, I want to plug them in, and I want them to work no matter when and how, and if I've forgotten or not forgotten to charge them up. That's what they're there for. And it is also worth mentioning this phone does have a small camera bump. Now, it's not as big as the one that you'll find on the latest iPhone. However, it is there. Now, if you have it flat on the table and you are typing, when you're typing in the bottom half of the screen, which is where the keyboard of course is normally found, there is no actual movement. If you go up to the top left-hand corner, you will start to see some movement because of course the camera bump is in the opposite corner. So that's just something to be aware of. It's only a little bit of movement because it's actually quite a small camera bump. And because I mainly notice it when I'm typing, I didn't actually find it a problem on this model, but it is something to watch out for. And the other bad thing that really needs to be mentioned about this phone is the battery life. Now, I'm going to dive into this a bit deeper in a few moments, but basically people are kind of getting between 3 and 4 5 hours on screen time, and all the different reviews I've read have all said things like, and you'll get a full day's use if you are careful or if you have moderate use. But we often found ourselves reaching for the charger by the time the evening comes. So basically the general consensus for the 3 and the 3XL is the batteries just aren't up to the job. Well, it's actually more likely that there's actually being placed too much demand on the batteries. And as I said, I'll talk about that in a moment. But if you really like to have long battery life, do not pick this phone. Now, of course, the key selling point of the Pixel 3 seems to be the camera, and Google have put a lot of effort into making the camera an excellent experience, mainly because it's only got that one camera lens on it. So we're not talking about dual cameras here or 3 cameras or whatever other combination other OEMs are making. It's just got that one camera, and Google want to make it the best experience you can get from that single lens. And the truth is they have managed that by and large, and the camera is absolutely excellent for a smartphone device. So as I'm talking here, I'm going to be showing you some of the pictures that I've taken with this phone. And of course, the real big point is that Google include all this AI stuff. So first of all, with portrait mode, rather than using any kind of depth sensing using a second lens or infrared or anything like that, all of the portrait mode stuff is done using AI, working out where the people are in the foreground, distinguishing the background, and then blurring the background. And another AI related feature, of course, is Night Sight. Now, it's not officially out yet, but you can get it if you know where to look for it. And that again uses AI to bring out and to brighten up pictures that have been taken in low light. And it seems to be working so far very, very well. And there's also the super zoom, which again is trying to use AI and digital manipulation to reproduce kind of high levels of optical zoom, more than just zooming in the number of pixels, actually trying to repair the damage that's done to the image by bringing it in so close. And there's a couple of pictures here that I'm showing you that were done at 2 times zoom. I'm pretty sure that if you start going up to 3, 4, 5 times zoom, the picture does actually fall apart quite quickly. But for 2 times zoom, which is basically what the other devices provide when they have 2 lenses on them, actually it seems to be a pretty good job. It also includes video stabilization, and here is a shot of me walking through a park, and as you can see it can be quite warpy as it's trying to smooth out the steps that I was making as I went through the park there. Another great feature is the wide selfie shot, which is really, really good if you kind of, you're out with the family, you're in a restaurant, you're with a group and you want to take that picture. How many times have we all kind of tried to stretch our hand just that little bit further, just to try to find that right angle to get everybody in the group? With that wide angle selfie shot, that becomes a whole lot easier. So that's a really good feature there by Google. And while we're talking about AI, it's worth mentioning, of course, you've got full integration with Google Assistant, which you can now get by squeezing the side of the phone. And that allows you then to kind of use your voice to issue various commands, ask various questions through the Google Assistant, as you would with, for example, one of Google's smart speakers. And of course, the other place that the AI is used in the new call screening function, which basically means if you get a phone call and you don't recognize the number, then you can ask the AI to kind of announce that you want to find out why that person is calling. And my colleagues over at Android Authority have found that actually most people, when they get to that stage, they just hang up. They don't actually can be bothered to actually have a conversation with the AI. So it will be interesting to see from a social point of view whether this kind of functionality actually kicks in and is more used over the future. Of course, from a technology point of view, it's exciting that we can kind of get the AI to kind of handle it in the background for us, and then we can pick up and speak to them if we really want to. But from a social interaction point of view, we'll have to see whether that actually really does work. So I said we'd jump back into the battery, and I just want to mention the problem is it's the camera that actually kills the battery. If you just do a 20-minute video, it's actually going to take up kind of like 12 or 13% of your battery time. And taking photos over an hour, you're going to find that an hour's worth of taking photos will kill your battery by 10 or even 12%. Now, to put that into context, if you play a complicated 3D driving game, for example, that may only take up your battery maybe 9 or 10% in an hour. So before, 3D games were really the thing that killed the battery on a phone, and you really couldn't play too much games because it would just ruin your battery life for that day. Now, actually what's happening is taking photos is a thing that is killing the battery life. And of course, what's been happening is me and other reviewers on YouTube, we've all been keen to try out the camera. We've all been keen to do lots of photos, and actually that is a thing that has killed the battery. And here's the irony of the whole thing. If you do get a Pixel 3 because you want an advanced camera, the usage of that advanced camera is actually going to reduce your day-to-day battery life. Okay, that's about it. Those are my thoughts on the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and please do tell me in the comments below what you think about the Pixel 3. Okay, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.